Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, and I mean daily. It's been almost a month since I did this, and I was so spiritually relieved yesterday and overwhelmed also with the response from all of you loving Vaishnavas out there, wherever you are. And I just have to thank you from the depths of my heart for your association. You're making my life worth living. That's the truth. Okay. Let's hear Srimad Bhagavata Mahima Stotram. The stotra composed by Srila Sanatana Goswami, glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very beneficial to hear this every day to help us go deeper into what we're hearing, because it gives us a deeper idea about what we're reading than to keep us remembering. It goes like this. Sarva Shastrabdipi Yusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabho, Kalidvandoditaditya, Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madhika Bando Mad Sangin Mad Guru Mad Mahadana Mad Nishtadaga Mad Bhagya Mad Ananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu sadutadayin adini chochata kada hanamuncha gadachin mam prem narit kanta yospuda. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, I think we're on to something. Yeah. So far there have been 550 views from yesterday's readings after being gone for so long. It's so stunningly joyful to be with you again. We've come to text 27 of the 19th chapter of the 11th canto. Krishna is still instructing Uddhava in what is called the Uddhava Gita. And this chapter is entitled The Perfection of Spiritual Knowledge. And here it is, text 27. Actual religious principles are stated to be those that lead one to my devotional service. Real knowledge is the awareness that reveals my all-pervading presence. Detachment is complete disinterest in the objects of material sense gratification, and opulence consists of the 8 mystic perfections: such as anima, siddhi. Purport. The Supreme Lord is perfect knowledge. Thus, one who has been delivered from ignorance automatically engages in the devotional service of the Lord and is called religious. One who becomes detached from the three modes of material nature and the gratificatory objects they produce is considered to be situated in detachment. The 8 mystic yoga perfections described previously by the Lord to Uddhava constitute material power or opulence in the highest degree. Texts 28 to 32. Shri Uddhava Uvacha Yamak Kati Bidak Prokto. Oh, sorry. I just read the Gita with Sanskrit. I got carried away here. Shri Uddhava said, "My dear Lord Krishna, O chastiser of the enemies, please tell me how many types of disciplinary regulations and regular daily duties there are. Also, my Lord, tell me what is mental equilibrium, what is self-control, and what is the actual meaning of tolerance and steadfastness. What are charity, austerity, and heroism, and how are reality and truth to be described? What is renunciation, and what is wealth? What is desirable? What is sacrifice? And what is religious remuneration? My dear Keshava, O most fortunate one, how am I to understand the strength, opulence, and profit of a particular person? What is the best education? What is actual humility? And what is real beauty? What are happiness and unhappiness? Who is learned and who is a fool? What are the true and the false paths of life? And what are heaven and hell? Who indeed is a true friend? And what is one's real home? Who is a rich man, and who is a poor man? Who is wretched, and who is an actual controller? O Lord of the devotees, kindly explain these matters to me, along with their opposites." Now that's a question. Okay, purport, here we go. Although all the items mentioned in these 5 verses are defined in different ways by different cultures and societies throughout the world, all of the items mentioned in these 5 verses are defined in different ways by different cultures and societies throughout the world. Therefore, Sri Uddhava is directly approaching the Supreme Authority, Lord Krishna, to obtain the standard definition for these universal aspects of civilized life. 33 to 35. The personality of Godhead said, "Non-violence, truthfulness, not coveting or stealing the property of others, detachment, humility, freedom from possessiveness, trust in the principles of religion, celibacy, silence, steadiness, forgiveness, and fearlessness are the 12 primary disciplinary principles. Internal cleanliness, external cleanliness, chanting the holy names of the Lord, austerity, sacrifice, faith, hospitality, worship of me, visiting holy places, acting and desiring only for the supreme interest, satisfaction, and service to the spiritual master are the 12 elements of regular prescribed duties. These 24 elements bestow all desired benedictions upon those persons who devotedly cultivate them." 36 through 39. Absorbing the intelligence in me constitutes mental equilibrium, and complete discipline of the senses is sense control. Tolerance means patiently enduring unhappiness, and steadfastness occurs when one conquers the tongue and genitals. The greatest charity is to give up all aggression toward others, and renunciation of lust is understood to be real austerity. Real heroism is to conquer one's natural tendency to enjoy material life, and reality is seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead everywhere. Truthfulness means to speak the truth in a pleasing way, as declared by great sages. Cleanliness is detachment in fruitive activities, whereas renunciation is the sannyas order of life. The true desirable wealth for human beings is religiousness, and I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, am sacrifice. Religious remuneration is devotion to the Acharya with the purpose of acquiring spiritual instruction, and the greatest strength is the pranayama system of breath control. Purport. Lord Krishna here describes those qualities that are desirable for persons advancing in human life. Shama, or mental equilibrium, means to fix the intelligence in Lord Krishna. Mere peacefulness without Krishna consciousness is a dull and useless state of mind. Dhamma, or discipline, means first to control one's own senses. If one wants to discipline one's children, disciples, or followers without controlling one's own senses, one becomes a mere laughing stock. Tolerance means to patiently endure unhappiness, such as that provoked by the insults or negligence of others. One must also sometimes accept material inconvenience to carry out the injunctions of scriptures, and that unhappiness must also be patiently endured. If one is not tolerant of the insults and abuse of others, nor tolerant of the inconveniences that may arise from following authorized religious scriptures, it is simply foolishness for him to make a whimsical show of tolerating extreme heat, cold, and pain, and so on, just to impress others. Concerning steadfastness, if one does not control the tongue and genitals, then any other steadfastness is useless. Real charity means to renounce all aggression toward others. If one gives money to charitable causes, but at the same time engages in exploitative business enterprises or abusive political tactics, one's charity is worth nothing at all. Austerity means to give up lust and sense gratification, and to observe prescribed vows, such as Ekadashi. It does not mean inventing whimsical methods of torturing the material body. Real heroism is to conquer one's lower nature. Certainly, everyone likes to propagate his own fame as a brilliant person, but everyone is also subject to lust, anger, greed, and so forth. Therefore, if one can conquer these lower characteristics generated from the modes of passion and ignorance, one is a greater hero than those who merely destroy their political opponents through intrigue and violence. One can develop equal vision by giving up jealousy and envy, and by recognizing the existence of the soul within every material body. This attitude pleases the Supreme Lord, who then reveals himself, solidifying forever one's equal vision. Merely describing things that exist does not constitute the last word in the perception of reality. One must also see the true spiritual equality of all living entities and all situations. Truthfulness means that one should speak in a pleasing way so that there will be a beneficial effect. If one becomes attached to pointing out the faults of others in the name of truth, then such fault-finding will not be appreciated by saintly persons. Whoa! The bona fide spiritual master speaks the truth in such a way that people can elevate themselves to the spiritual platform, and one should learn this art of truthfulness. If one is attached to material things, his body and mind are understood to be always polluted. Cleanliness, therefore, means to give up material attachment, not merely to frequently rinse one's skin with water. Real renunciation is giving up one's false sense of proprietorship over one's relatives and wife, and not just giving away material objects, while real wealth is to be religious. Sacrifice is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, because the performer of sacrifice, to be successful, must absorb his consciousness in the Personality of Godhead and not in temporary material rewards that may accrue from sacrifice. Real religious remuneration means that one should serve saintly persons who can enlighten one with spiritual knowledge. One may offer remuneration to his spiritual master who has enlightened him by distributing the same knowledge to others, thereby pleasing the Acharya. May I say that again? Would anybody mind if I repeat that one? Okay, I'll do it. One may offer remuneration to his spiritual master who has enlightened him by distributing the same knowledge to others, thereby pleasing the Acharya. Preaching work thus constitutes the highest form of remuneration. I'll repeat that again too. Preaching work thus constitutes the highest form of remuneration. By performing the pranayama, system of respiratory control, one can easily subdue the mind, and one who can in this way perfectly control the restless mind is the most powerful person. Hare Krishna. These purports are amazing. Radharaman Prabhu was always saying this, that anyone who thinks that these purports are not empowered by Srila Prabhupada, empowered by Srila Prabhupada, needs to read it again after he's changed his consciousness. No one can write like this unless they're empowered by Krishna. Okay, it is now 7:28. We started at 7:10. Okay, we can keep going. Unless anyone minds. They want me to quit. Okay. Text 40 and 45. Through 45, rather. Actual opulence is my own nature as the personality of Godhead, through which I exhibit the 6 unlimited opulences. The supreme gain in life is devotional service to me, and actual education is nullifying the false perception of duality within the soul. Real modesty is to be disgusted with improper activities, and beauty is to possess good qualities such as detachment. Real happiness is to transcend material happiness and unhappiness And real misery is to be implicated in searching for sex pleasure. A wise man is one who knows the process of freedom from bondage, and a fool is one who identifies with his material body and mind. The real path in life is that which leads to me, and the wrong path is sense gratification, by which consciousness is bewildered. Actual heaven is the predominance of the mode of goodness, whereas hell is the predominance of ignorance. I am everyone's true friend, acting as the spiritual master of the entire universe, and one's home is the human body. My dear friend Uddhava, one who is enriched with good qualities is actually said to be rich, and one who is unsatisfied in life is actually poor. A wretched person is one who cannot control his senses, whereas one who is not attached to sense gratification is a real controller. One who attaches himself to sense gratification is the opposite, a slave. Thus, Uddhava, I have elucidated all of the matters about which you inquired. There is no need for a more elaborate description of these good and bad qualities, since to constantly see good and bad is itself a bad quality. Shall we hear that again? You don't mind? Bhagavad, can I say it again? Oh, all right. There is no need for a more elaborate description of these good and bad qualities, since to constantly see good and bad is itself a bad quality. The best quality is to transcend material good and evil. Yeah, pretty intelligent, that Krishna, wouldn't you say, offhand? Mm-hmm. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is naturally full of 6 opulences, namely unlimited beauty, wealth, fame, knowledge, strength, and renunciation. Therefore, the greatest profit in life is to achieve personal loving service to the Lord, who is naturally the reservoir of all pleasure. Real education means to give up the false idea that anything is separate from the Lord, the source of all potencies. Similarly, one should not falsely consider the individual soul to be different or separate from the Supreme Soul. Mere bashfulness does not constitute modesty. One should spontaneously withdraw in disgust from sinful activities. Then one is actually modest or humble. One who is satisfied in Krishna consciousness and thus does not seek material pleasure or suffer material unhappiness is considered to be actually situated in happiness. The most wretched person is one addicted to sex pleasure, and a wise man is one who knows the process of freedom from such material bondage. A fool is one who gives up his eternal friendship with Lord Krishna and instead identifies himself with his own temporary material body, mind, society, community, and family. The real path of life is not simply a modern interstate highway or, in more simple cultures, a footpath free of thorns and mud. It is that path that leads to Lord Krishna. The wrong path in life is not simply a road having many thieves or toll booths. It is that path that leads one to utter confusion in material sense gratification. A heavenly situation is that in which the mode of goodness predominates, rather than that found on the planet of Indra, where passion and ignorance sometimes disturb the celestial atmosphere. Hell is anywhere the mode of ignorance is predominant, and not merely the hellish planets, where, according to Lord Shiva, a pure devotee can think of Krishna and remain happy. Our actual friend in life is the bona fide spiritual master who saves us from all dangers. Among all gurus, Lord Krishna is himself the Jagat Guru, or spiritual master of the entire universe. In material life, our own material body is our immediate home, rather than some structure of bricks, cement, stone, and wood. A rich man is one who possesses innumerable good qualities. He is not a neurotic fool with a large bank account. I got to say that one again, sorry. A rich man is one who possesses innumerable good qualities. He is not a neurotic fool with a large bank account. A poor man is one who is unsatisfied, which is self-explanatory. A poor man is one who is unsatisfied, which is self-explanatory. One who cannot control his senses is certainly wretched and miserable in life, whereas one who detaches himself from material life is actually a lord or controller. In modern times, there are remnants of aristocracy in Europe and other countries, but such so-called lords often display the habits of lower forms of life. A real lord is one who conquers material existence by rising to the spiritual platform. A person who is attached to material life will undoubtedly manifest the opposites of all the good qualities mentioned here, and he is thus the symbol of going backward in life. The Lord concludes his analysis by stating that there is no need for further elaboration of these good and bad qualities. Indeed, the purpose of life is to transcend materially good and bad qualities and come to the liberated platform of pure Krishna consciousness. This point will be further explained in the following chapter. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 11th Canto, 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Perfection of Spiritual Knowledge. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Uddhava Gita ki jai, Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead ki jai, Shri Uddhava, the Supreme Pure Devotee ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Well, I might say that was very, very well put, if I might say. We should also humbly glorify and appreciate and serve and, submit to the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who compiled and edited these wonderful purports. They are transcendental perfection as far as I can see. And I'm going to stop here reading because I just ran out of my quota of sitting in a chair. And there was so many good points made in those last few purports, power-packed, dense as anything. You could write a book about each sentence. So I'll leave you all to meditate on those points of information, the definition of spiritual life, and bid you adieu today. Unless there's somebody who has a reflection or something they want specifically to discuss further. And the Prince of Hythe, Radha Raman, whose castle we're living in comfortably, by His mercy, is raising his hand. So this is better be good. Here, do you have another? The other? You do.
So, there's just one thing in this purport, that just one paragraph that I'd like to read again and invite you to comment on, Maharaj, if possible.
Me? Oh, you can comment. Go ahead.
Well, I'll do the reading part. Text 36 to 39.
Through 39.
Yeah. In the purport, this is said, one can develop equal vision by giving up jealousy and envy, and by recognizing the existence of the soul within every material body. This attitude pleases the Supreme Lord, who then reveals himself, solidifying forever one's equal vision. Merely describing things that exist does not constitute the last word in the perception of reality. One must also see the true spiritual quality of all living entities in all situations. Truthfulness means that one should speak in a pleasing way, so that there will be a beneficial effect. If one becomes attached to pointing out the faults of others in the name of truth, then such fault-finding will not be appreciated by saintly persons. The bona fide spiritual master speaks the truth in such a way that people can elevate themselves to the spiritual platform, and one should learn this art of truthfulness.
Yeah, that's about as sweet as it gets, huh? Mm-hmm. Profound as it gets also. Well, I mean, I can say one thing, that in the Bhagavad Gita, which the Bhagavatam is elaborating upon, in the 4th chapter, the famous verse, Tadvidi Pranipatina Pariprashnena Seviya Upatek Chantite Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshana. There it says that one should try to find the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire submissively, and serve. The self-realized souls can show you the truth because they've seen it. So now this word jnana here is very broad, and all these things that are been described in these purports and the list in the verses are what constitute knowledge that brings one to Krishna consciousness and allows one to be in Krishna consciousness. So in the very next verse, Krishna describes the gateway, or another way of looking at it, the knowledge that you get. So it talks about the knowledge. It can give you, the self-realized soul can give you knowledge because he's seen the truth, or seen the truth because he's seen, or give you knowledge because he's seen the truth. But then what is that knowledge? And the very next verse tells you what it is. Yajgyatva na punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanya sheshani drakshasyat manyato mayi. And that means when you receive this knowledge, you will never again fall into such delusion. For you will see that every living being is but a part of the Supreme, or in other words, that he is mine. So that encapsulates this idea of what truth is, and how one can see and why one should see the soul in the heart of every living being. One should see the spiritual aspect of a person, because there's always a spiritual aspect in every single living being. And when we begin to see that spiritual aspect, then our minds automatically become equipoised. And not only that, we get the capacity to feel affection for everyone. Maybe not in the same degree, and maybe not act in the same way externally, but we can feel genuine affection, because we can see that they belong to Krishna. If you're Krishna conscious and you love Krishna, or you want to love Krishna at least, if that's the goal, and you see a person as belonging to Krishna, then why wouldn't you feel affection for that person? Then why would you want to speak to that person in such a way that would disturb them? Why wouldn't you want to speak pleasingly to someone that you know is fond to Krishna, fond of Krishna? That's my comment. It's the gateway. You can build everything on that, and the rest of the Gita just unpacks and unfolds that until you come finally to Sarvadharman Parityajya, Mamekam Padavamja. And just before that, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto, Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. Always think of Krishna. Become his devotee. Worship him. Offer your homage unto him. And that way, Krishna will take you back to him. Guaranteed. Because he promises it. And Krishna never breaks a promise. But when we see that something's wrong with something or someone or some situation and what's been happening to me, we lose touch of that. And we start to see fault in the persons that are causing me to feel disturbed. When in fact, the cause is actually my own lust and greed and anger and inability to tolerate madness, envy, and what we've done in that consciousness for lifetimes. Then what? Then we can accept responsibility. If we don't take responsibility for our own situation, we will naturally want to point the fingers at others. So I think that this verse, 2 verses, Tadvidi Panipatina in Yajgatva Napunarmoham, as Krishna has situated them right together, tells us how to get to knowledge and what the knowledge is. And everything else will proceed from there, expand from there, if you will. Is it okay? Perfect. Hare Krishna. Okay. For that puts me over the line. I'm over my limit now. So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone and thank everyone again and again. We have 550 views so far and still counting from yesterday. And I pray that more and more devotees will want to come and hear this special way that we're hearing. To hear every word of the Bhagavatam, every word of the purports, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And then we talk. Not that we hear one sentence and then give our idea, and then hear another sentence and give our idea, and hear another, like that. And lose the force, the thrust of Srila Prabhupada's and those who are empowered by Srila Prabhupada's thoughts. So thank you so much. Welcome back. I feel so much at home here with you, and I pray that you also feel at home hearing Srila Prabhupada's books together. And I'll read to you one thing that I'm just compiling my offering, and I ran across this, and this will just take me a second to find it. I didn't kind of tee this up, so I might have to look for it for a second. Yeah. Excuse me for holding you all up. It's just spontaneous. I thought I would read this. I hope I can find it. It's in a large file of things that I've compiled from Prabhupada's purports. And I found a really good one. getting there. Anyway, I'm just going to have to tell you what it says because anyway, it's going to take me too long. I'm so sorry. It's going to take me too long to find this. But what it says is that when one chants, one's heart becomes purified, and then one wants to hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And when one hears seriously, then one learns to chant how to chant Hare Krishna without offense, and gets love of God. That's the process. So it's not without the Srimad Bhagavatam, without the Bhagavad Gita, without the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The holy name and these holy scriptures, they go together. And you cannot get everything without all of them. And with that thought, I will leave you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the assembled devotees. And I'll see you tomorrow night at the same time, 7 o'clock UK time, right here in Hythe, Kent, in the live studios of the Prince of Hythe, we call him, Radharaman's sanctuary. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.